Hi there, this is Dan Page with Boulder Equity Partners. Today I'm here to talk to you about 4 ways to keep your commercial real estate loan on track so you go all the way through to funding. As a commercial real estate lender, I review a dozen or more loan requests every single day. I find that many borrowers believe that once they get their term sheet, their work is done. Now they can just sit back and wait for funding, but that is not necessarily the case. Finding a lender for your commercial real estate loan is half the battle. Next, you need to go through the underwriting process, close the loan, and get funded. Delays along the way can cause the loan process to go off the rails. And so we're here to talk about how to be able to stop that from happening and make sure your loan gets all the way through and funded. So there's 4 ways to avoid delays or anything that might come up and kill your loan process. So let's just jump into that. Tip number 1, don't spend all your cash. So every borrower is going to need to come to the closing table with some amount of cash. The lender and the borrower may have had discussions about where the cash is coming from, but now the underwriters need to verify that the borrower has the necessary funds in their possession. Even when the borrower has submitted previous month's bank statements, sometimes underwriters require follow-up bank statements only days before the closing. The underwriter may want to verify the amount in your account with a verification of deposit, or they may be looking for large unexplained deposits. They want to know where that money came from. It's just a very typical occurrence. A borrower who spends that money or moves it around prior to closing may kill the deal only days before it was set to close. So don't spend your cash. So if you have cash in your bank, leave it there. Don't go moving cash around because at the very least it will just create complications for you going down the path. The next tip is maintain your corporate records. So as you see from this great photo in the background here with a fellow with cobwebs and everything looking through his computer and his documents, that's what it can seem like with corporate records. And I know it's not a very exciting thing, but it's so important to be able to have your corporate records all set up and all correct. So that might mean you have an LLC, a limited liability company. It might mean your operating agreement or your bylaws, your corporate resolution. Make sure you have a certificate of good standing and your EIN letter. This is a document that comes directly from the IRS when you set up your EIN number for your company. I can't tell you how many deals we've had delayed because somebody didn't have the EIN letter, and the IRS is notorious for being slow to get copies of that. So make sure you have all your records updated and just buttoned up in one place. And otherwise, it's difficult to do at the last minute. So make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Tip number 3, make sure you keep making your payments during the process of your loan. This is another thing that I've seen come up many times, that the borrower has a loan, and say a typical loan takes 30 to 60 days to close. Well, the borrower has a loan with the previous lender, and they think, I'm just not going to make this month's payment. Since I'm getting a new loan anyway, I won't make that payment because it's going to get paid off with my new loan. Big mistake. Because what happens, as a lender, we're going to order a payoff statement from your bank that shows the consistency of your payments. And if we get that payoff statement and it shows that your last loan payment was not paid, it can wreak havoc with closing your loan because all of a sudden the risk of that loan, the perceived risk, goes up dramatically. So I can't emphasize enough, keep making your payments, both on your loan and all of your other credit, while you're in the process of underwriting. The next tip is don't run up your credit while you're in the process of underwriting. So even with some loans like bridge loans that are quick close loans, there is a decent risk that a follow-up credit check will be required for funding. So you run credit at the beginning of the process, and sometimes credit might be needed to run again before your loan actually closes. And this happened with one of my clients a couple of years ago, where the borrower was slow to get documents to us, and it had gone like 60 days, and we had to update their credit report. We updated their credit report, and their credit had dropped dramatically because they applied for a car loan, they applied for refinancing their house, and everything changed, and their credit dropped, and it killed the loan. So don't run up your credit accounts prior to closing. Can't emphasize that one enough. So we really appreciate you spending the time with us here today. So whether you're looking for a commercial real estate loan, whether it's long-term, low interest option, or a bridge loan or a construction loan on a tight deadline, because we can move pretty quickly for those, you need a lender who's on your side. Someone who peers into the process and anticipates things that might go wrong and to deal with them ahead of time, and somebody who's with you all the way through to funding. We have a great reputation in the industry with 5-star Google reviews, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and we've been doing this for many years, so we'd love to be able to work with you and help you on your next loan. So please do feel free to give me a call to discuss your next real estate loan. My telephone number is 303-938-8280, or you can reach me by email at dan@boulderequitypartners.com.